Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, sitting down to restore the hope. Ladies and gentlemen, since the Game Awards, the Bethesda community, the Xbox community has been on full copium. We're trying to find the hope, and I think I have a theory today that's not just any speculation, but actually rooted in facts and official statements from Xbox and Bethesda representatives that I want to bring to the table here because it is something that I think you can hang on to a little bit and look forward to in perhaps the early parts of 2023. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know already, the Xbox and Bethesda community have been, let's just say, a little bit concerned since the Game Awards. Now, it's normal sometimes for major platform holders to miss out on the Game Awards and not have anything to show from their first-party studios. Nintendo's done it, PlayStation has done it, Xbox most recently did it. The reason it's different for Xbox is, number one, I think it's a sign that people are getting a little bit fed up. But number two, you'd imagine if Xbox has 3 first-party games, being Redfall, Starfield, and Forza Motorsport, lined up to be released in the next half a year based off what Xbox said at the showcase, where they told us everything we saw at that showcase would be out within the next year. And that is held firm. Everything we've seen so far has released within that window. That it wouldn't be a far shot to say Xbox being at the Game Awards would make a lot of sense, since they probably have something to show off. But when they had nothing at all, whether it be third party, Game Pass, or first party, nothing. And so it was a sign that it's time to be concerned. Now, as I covered here on my channel in my recap video of Xbox skipping the Game Awards, we learned that Xbox may be planning something that's not too far from now. As you can see, this tweet here from Aaron Greenberg addresses a lot of the criticism coming Xbox's way, saying timing is key and that we won't have to wait long to hear about certain games coming up. Now, Aaron Greenberg never specifies what it is, but Jez Corden seems to have an idea of it, as he writes in his article circling around the Game Awards 2022 that indeed I've heard some tentative and unverifiable rumors recently that Microsoft may be exploring some kind of event for Q1, possibly in the vein of its XO events of the pre-pandemic age. Now, this is important because leading into the Game Awards, Jez also said that while it was unverified, he had heard that Xbox's presence at the Game Awards will be relatively small. So, my man Jez, dad of Xbox, has been spot on in the past. Do not take this and run with it, but it seems like this could be what Aaron is indicating to be on the way in Q1. As we look at Xbox's layout for 2023, I think the reality is they are probably going to have a lot going on because they have so much stuffed into the pipeline that eventually it's going to burst, and they just got to release it. Otherwise, they're investing for too long. That's what happened with Halo Infinite. They were investing for so long that eventually they went, we just got to get this game out now. Like, we've spent so much on it, we probably won't make anything back on it. It's the same thing here with all of these games that have been in development since 2018, even when all those acquisitions occurred. It's time to start releasing things, and I truly believe we're going to see that. But when you start to see Xbox's first party heat up, and you think about all the day one Game Pass deals, all the third party exclusives, the things that they have yet to unveil, and of course the upcoming first party exclusives that we have only talked about, like Fable, for example, like what Compulsion Games is working on, Hellblade 2. There's got to be a different place to show updates on these games. And the reason this is so important is because Xbox, I've said for a while now, needs their own Nintendo Direct, needs their own state of play. They are about to have so many games. They either need a platform for just Game Pass games, or a platform for first party updates, or a platform for everyone involved. They just need to find a way to show some stuff off. So here's the theory. Based off what Aaron Greenberg said, we're going to see something soon. That could be as simple as a YouTube trailer, but lend me your ear for a moment. I got a bit of an idea. This goes back to Ghostwire Tokyo at the top of the year. Now, when Ghostwire Tokyo got delayed and we hadn't heard about it for a while, similar to Starfield, similar to Redfall, there was growing concern of, hey, they need to market this thing. They delayed it and it just went, pardon the pun, ghost mode. So what gives? And when we see it, it'll likely still be a number of months out. But it went the exact opposite with Ghostwire Tokyo. A state of play showed up out of nowhere. They dropped a ton of gameplay for it. And that was in February, and they said, we'll see you next month. And they dropped the game next month. And that was that. And that was very surprising because this is Tango Gameworks, who has historically struggled to have games sell very well between The Evil Within 1 and 2. And I felt like Ghostwire wasn't going to be much different because that was in development hell. So I thought it needed every bit of help it could get. Now, my theory with that was maybe they were sending it out to die. Maybe it wasn't that good. But the game reviewed pretty well. Now, we don't know the internal optics of Bethesda, and could that have been the case is anyone's guess. But to kind of give the theory some legs, let's just say they thought, we don't need to market this more. It already had its marketing budget spent. We're going to give it one last state of play to bring all the attention to it. And we're going to do what Bethesda does and keep that reveal to release date pretty close by. And they did just that, just like we've seen in the past with Fallout 4, where it was revealed in June officially, and it was coming out in November, which was a big game changer for the industry, and we saw many others follow suit. Whether you liked Fallout 4 or hated it, you could at least admit the way the release date was handled was great. Now with Starfield, the mistake that was made was the release date was announced way too far in advance. Todd Howard has always said he wants to keep the reveal and the release date as close as humanly possible. So here is part of my theory. I could see a situation where at the top of the year, like January or February, we get an Xbox Bethesda showcase, maybe something like a Nintendo Direct or something like a State of Play. That's a quick 30 to 40 minute show that they put together of all their first party games that are coming out in the first half of the year. And we finally get release dates for Starfield, Redfall, and they're way closer than anything we expected. Like I said at the start of the video, there is a bit of copium attached to this because I'm still on record, and I do believe to some extent it's always possible Starfield could get delayed. And I think there's a lot of reasons why, from the outside looking in, you could be concerned. However, if you're to ask Bethesda, they don't seem to agree at all. And if you've covered Bethesda for a while, you've watched my Bethesda content for a while, you know when rumors pick up, they don't talk. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And it seems like there's been a bit of turnover on that mentality, like they commented on the Mick Gordon situation. And they did comment on the absence of Starfield on their official Discord. Now, this isn't an official statement, but it is something that I think you could lean into a little bit and not feel too fearful of where things lie with Starfield without having to read between the lines. So let's take a look at it. My very good friend, Vault of Daedalus, actually wrote, "A lot of people are reading into things way too much. You needn't worry." He then follows that up saying, "The next Q&A is what's up next on the schedule, which we encourage everyone to keep submitting questions for. Expect more and more as we get closer to release. As I mentioned earlier, things will happen when they're ready to." Can I just say on a personal note, this is awesome. For those who don't know the history here, and I know some of you don't care, but for me, it's amazing. So I just want to retell it. When Fallout 4 leaks started to happen, Vault of Daedalus was the guy out there crushing the leaks and rumors. He was like the hoax finder, and he was destroying it all. He became a very good friend of mine. He now works in the UK division over at Bethesda. So to be sitting here, still doing my thing, covering Bethesda news, and to be covering what he said is awesome. So Rob, my friend, I hope you're doing well, and thank you for some of the reassurance there. So what we have here is less of the non-answer that we typically get from Bethesda in the past, which is, we don't comment on rumors and speculation. What we actually have here is something more reassuring in tone that says, here's what's next. Here's why you don't need to worry. Okay? And so what it tells us is before we get probably any type of showcase, we're going to see finally the constellation questions on questing. I'm getting ready to take some much needed time off, and I get a feeling now it's going to drop while I'm away, but that's okay. We'll get to it when we get to it. But this is something that I find super, super interesting because, again, Bethesda is submitting a comment on something and kind of waving away the concern, saying there's a bit of an overreaction here. So this adds to my theory a little bit that perhaps Bethesda may just say, we're not going to go all in on the marketing in 2022 when we're not releasing the game. We're going to give people a good look, put it in the public consciousness, talk about it in one other official video, which was the first ever Constellation Questions. Otherwise, it's been in stuff that's not official, like the Lex Friedman podcast, and they've been little tidbits here or there. but maybe they're really saving it all for 2023, where they're going to go all out. And again, just knowing Todd Howard's desire, that's the one thing that just keeps scratching my brain. Knowing Todd Howard's desire to keep the reveal and the release as close as possible, I feel like this is his moment to finally accomplish that, like he has wanted to for so long, where he said, like, if I could do 3 months, I would. But now he actually might be able to within reason, right? Hey, we showed the game, and the next time they see it, it's going to be that close. And as a big Bethesda fan, that would be so exciting. But of course, if you're Bethesda, you want to be wary of the hype. And more than anything, what you need to be wary of is this is a new IP. And that's why I kind of had to play devil's advocate with myself as we round out this video and this conversation is I still can't shake that one feeling, which is I admire all the confidence you have in Starfield, and it will absolutely be a game tons of people are talking about. But you obviously want to reach beyond the hardcore gamer base into the more casual gamer who may not know who Bethesda Game Studios is by name, because you guys release games like every 5 years outside of like Fallout 76 and Fallout 4, which had a 3-year gap. And there was occasional 3-year gaps early in their development when it was like Oblivion and then Fallout 3 and a 2-year gap. Are you kidding me? I mean, I wish I could have really lived through the releases of those, because that was, you want to talk about eating good. But point being is those gaps are typically a lot larger, and they've only grown as Bethesda has grown their forces and grown the games that they are making, where again, the last thing we saw from them officially was 76, and now we're going on 4+ years. So it's been a while, and not everyone's going to know who Bethesda Game Studios is. So you can't rely on namesake and your actual company. And I don't think you can fully lean into namesake, of course, for it's Fallout or it's Elder Scrolls like you typically have, because those are established mainstream series. So that's the one thing I can't shake off with this is, as a gamer and as a fan, certainly I'd love the idea of just boom, here it is. See you in 2 months, see you in 3 months, even 4 months would be crazy. And I don't want to underestimate that length to market the game and make people aware of it. But it just seems to me like they could use more public awareness. And maybe this is a part of their plan, right? Fallout 4 was immensely successful. It was in a AAA day and age where you had to announce your game a year in advance and give it that full, juicy marketing campaign, and they bucked the trend. So do they do it again? Is the question. And with a little bit of copium, I can say, you know, I could see it. I could see it. And Ghostwire Tokyo being the past example where it's a game that I don't think would have found as much success, and they did it anyway. So they probably do it with something that's had more eyes on it, like Redfall, like Starfield, which have more hype behind it. It would also give Xbox a chance to finally show off so many games people are itching for, because then you have to think about the summer showcase. And that summer showcase is going to be packed. And that's without Activision in the fold. So Bethesda and Xbox need to really start planning out how these games get screen time, because eventually things are going to get so inflated that you can suffer from what happened with the Game Awards, which is there are so many trailers, so much stuff to show, so much content that you almost get sensory overload and you don't know where to go, what to be excited for, and big announcements start to glance off of you. That is not what you want to have happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my theory. This is my theory on Bethesda's big, bold play. That at the beginning of the year, we get a showcase, kind of like a Nintendo Direct from Xbox, and it's there that we see Starfield, Redfall, Forza, and whatever else again. And especially for those big three, we finally get some much-needed release dates. And if Bethesda's going to go out of the way, even if it's on a Discord server, and just quietly say, hey, we think people are overreacting, I think that's a pretty straightforward statement to say there's no need for concern. And I trust my boy Walter Daedalus, so what can I say? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Let me know what you think of my theory. Could you see Bethesda doing something crazy and stupid like this? Let me know down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.